So Manchester City have gone ahead and lost yet another game. This time it was in the FA Cup semi-finals, of course, against Arsenal. They beat us 2-0, and it was just one of those games, just like many other games this season, particularly in the Premier League, with our Chelsea game, with Man United, with Wolves back-to-back in the Premier League, where we've just been found out so many times in just silly little mistakes that Guardiola, he is very much pasted over and fixed, and just always his way of football, his way of playing it has always worked out. Well, it has for the past 2 seasons. But it's just this season and in this game as well, in general, it just has been absolutely abysmal. Just abysmal. Before we carry on, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, please. It would really mean a lot. Post notifications as well and drop a like if you enjoy. But let's just go ahead and just see what really went wrong for us. There was times where we did press the ball. I believe there was one time we did press, won the ball, passed it to Sterling. Sterling tried to cross it. Arsenal's defence, they were just so solid during the game. I mean, previously before this match and during other times during this season, Arsenal have been almost found out. Well, not really that too much badly found out in a sense, but they have been challenged by other teams. But since Project Restart, and really since Arteta was appointed manager at Arsenal, he's been slowly but surely building up a team which was very rusty at the beginning, and now has just turned into something just absolutely just something which could possibly even challenge for the title next season. Who knows? Arsenal, they can be a very random club, but then again, we're sort of falling into that category as well. I mean, on paper, if you look at the squads, our squad is probably, I looked at our team and thinking, yes, that's just a solid team. I looked at Arsenal's and thought, yeah, it's equally just as good. We might probably just pull a win out of this, or maybe a draw, go to pens and win. It just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be. I'm not going to, throw the kitchen sink out just in annoyance. Saying that, I would like to throw it at Arteta. But nah, he done well. He done well to go ahead and get that win. Aubameyang, he had 2 amazing goals. Well, they were just really well-worked goals. That front three of Aubameyang, Lacazette and Nicolas Pepe, just like Man United's front three, is something which can decimate and just be absolutely just unstoppable, really, for the rest of the season and many more seasons to come. Just like with us when we had Leroy Sané, Sterling, and I think it was Sergio Aguero or Gabriel Jesus playing up front for the past 2 seasons. They were pretty much just so good, just so consistent and just rapid. But in this game, it's just wasn't our match. It just wasn't our match at all. So Aubameyang had a shot straight at Ederson. His first shot, it was a very bad shot in a sense because it was just straight at the keeper, not really much direction. Good bit of power, but not really much direction. But his first goal was a well-worked goal. I can't really be too salty and just be in denial about it. It was a very well-worked goal from Pepe to Aubameyang. Kyle Walker, he just stood off his man. He could have kept up with Aubameyang. I mean, Aubameyang's quick, but Kyle Walker can keep up with him, but Aubameyang was it was just a bit too quick, really. It was just a little bit too quick. Just spat everywhere. Better clean that up after. So there's been so many times as well we've been passing around the back this season, and like I did mention earlier, we just have been found out, and it's frustrating. It's honestly just frustrating. Guardiola's system has worked for Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and like I said, the past 2 seasons it has worked, but we are an absolute country mile away in terms of form from that team. I mean, we're the highest scoring team in the league, and we've secured 2nd place, which is still fairly impressive. It's not like we're being absolutely rubbish and we're in relegation form. It's been fairly decent compared to a lot of teams in the Premier League, even though we have lost more games in the Premier League than Man United or Arsenal. But going back to this, there's times where we've been just passing around the back. It's sort of been working, but at the same time, it just makes you think we need a plan B. We need a plan B when the chips are down, when we're just being terrible, just being that inconsistent as to what to do next. Speaking of which, we're passing around the back. There was that one point where we did lose the ball. Gundogan, out of absolutely nowhere, like a steam train, just comes zooming in and just did a brilliant stand tackle. That's pretty much the highlights. The good points for Man City. Saying that though, there was one point where Arsenal had a cornering. Gundogan, what was he actually doing? Looking at the highlights, what was he actually playing at when he went to try and get the ball away? I don't know whether he was just looking for a foul, just diving, or generally just tripped over himself. I think he just tripped over himself, to be fair. And it was just awful, really, just awful. Arsenal's defence they were just as well organised as a box of matches, really. David Luiz turned into Maldini. It's weird, him and even Shokhtar Mustafi had a game where he was probably better than half of the City our squad yesterday. If that makes sense. But there was one point as well during the game where Laporte, he had a fairly decent shot, and you know when things are getting that bad, when even our defenders are having a pop at goal. Laporte's shot, it was just went past the post on his weak foot. If he had scored that would have been absolutely incredible. But it was just times like with all our passing around and everything. Yes, it does look appealing to the eye. Yes, it does rack up well for us in possession. But there's times where it just almost makes us look bad, because it just doesn't really rack up to resulting in much. And there's times where we, like 82 minutes in, we racked up 33 crosses. That's like championship sort of performance in passing, and it's just poor. It is just poor. I'm not going to be like sugarcoat it or anything and just be like, oh, it's alright lads, we could probably just fix it up and just be better next game. It was just poor. I'm not being around the bush. It was poor. How many more times do I have to go ahead and say it? But Arsenal, like I said, they did very well. They did work very hard. And just like the Southampton game, when they did get the 2 goals, it was like the Great Wall of Arsenal. We had the Great Wall of Southampton. Now we got the Great Wall of Arsenal to deal with. And it seems to be a tactic that a lot of teams, fair few teams, have been picking up lately, is that when they score against us, or they're on the we're on the back foot compared to them, all they do really is just defend, and we just can't break through it. And the crosses as well, they're pretty much meaningless, because we're crossing the ball into players who, let's be honest, are about as tall as Arsenal's defenders' shins. Crossing in the ball against defenders who are 6 foot at least. Like, who do you expect to win the header on that? And on top of that as well, 7 years ago today, we signed Negredo and Jovetic. And in this game today, we needed players like them, target men who could header the ball and get into the back of the net. And I hope and the transfer window, which does open in 8 days' time, so it's just over a week, that we can, if we were to sign a striker, I mean, we have signed a striker in Moreno, don't really know too much about him, but if we were to sign a striker, just get one that's at least 6 foot, as known as a target man, as someone that can win headers and challenge defenders. It's something that we just do need. Aguero's been injured a fair bit. How long he'll stay at the club, I do not know. Gabriel Jesus, there's times where he does have good moments, but there's times where he's just proven that he is just a backup striker. Other players as well in this match. Laporte, he was lacklustre. De Bruyne, rarely enough, had a 6 out of 10 game, I'd say, probably even 5 out of 10. It was like watching De Bruyne at his Chelsea days, really, which is extremely worrying. I mean, I don't want to give too much of a down on De Bruyne. He is a fantastic player. I highly do rate him still. But he just had a very much an off day. Quite rare of De Bruyne, because on times where we have been struggling, he's been the most hard-working player for us, just trying his absolute best. There was little stints where he did show how much hard work he does actually put in. But like I said, it did just come to absolutely nothing indeed. So where do we go from here is the real main question. Where is it we actually do go from here on in? We've been talking a lot about the Real Madrid game that we got coming up. After today, it's really not filling me with confidence for that. And I'm sick and tired, really, of just seeing people say, oh, Man City, they've got their chances to win the Champions League. Mate, it's either going to be one of two things. We won't win the Champions League ever, or I won't see us win the Champions League in my lifetime. I mean, might go ahead be proved wrong, but that's just how I feel really at this point, because it's just all talk and no show really. But like I said, it's not all doom and gloom. We have secured second in the Premier League. Also, I saw a post saying that on Facebook that Man City has spent £150 million in the transfer window. Yeah, I've only won a McDonald's trophy and an energy drinks trophy, mate. That's 2 more trophies than what a lot of other teams in the Premier League have won. I mean, the FA Cup is just looking when we dig in semi-finals and everything, I thought, yeah, Arsenal could be a decent one. We could probably get a win against that. But even if we were going to win, we'd be going up against either Man United or Chelsea, 2 teams that have beaten us, taken advantage of us. And so in the finals, we would have probably have just bottled it. But you know what, that's where I'm just going to leave it. This was a game where it just wasn't really we just weren't really up to scratch. And hopefully in our next game, who knows, we can hopefully just patch things up and patch up the cracks in our team. It's ironic, isn't it, that our new kit is all cracked features as well. It just sums up our season. That's how I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, make sure, like I said, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, whenever it will be, I'll see you guys in a bit.